Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to make some little lace and fabric samplers that we can attach inside our journals. And then if somebody needs an extra piece of lace or something like that, then they can just trim off a piece of it or tear out a piece of it, ever how they want to get it unattached and use it. So this one I had fabric, a little piece of scrap of fabric, some vintage lace, another piece of vintage lace, and then a little crocheted flower. And then I just turn the top over, and that can either be glued down at the top or just clipped, using a paper clip and clip in your journal. I'm going to show you how to make some where you can actually clip them in your journal with a paper clip that is already in here. Now, I'm going to hand stitch these because I know a lot of you don't have a sewing machine and you'd like to see things hand stitched, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take these two little pieces of fabric. Got that one and that one. All right, let me see. I want to make sure I've got enough. Yeah. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I turn down enough on the back side that I can still get my paper clip in there, okay? That way when I put my paper clip in there to attach it to the page, it'll still be hidden on the front. I hope it's not raining outside, because if it is raining outside, I need to go and get the boxes in that they just delivered. Okay, I am just going to stitch right down at the bottom of this, and I'm just using just a cream colored thread. So stitch down at the bottom, and I'm just doing a running stitch. Okay, when you get over to the edge, you're just going to tie it off. Okay, so I'm just going to go through, grab my loop with my needle, and then pull it, and that will tie that off. I'll probably do it one more time just to make sure that that doesn't pull out. So grab your loop and then just pull it down. Okay. So we'll clip that off. Oops. Now you can see that your paper clip is going to go in there. Let's see, we want the shorter side inside. Okay, so see, my paper clip is in there. It's in that little tunnel that I made, but you can't see it from the front, so you're not going to know how it's attached. All right, now we're going to put our lace sampler pieces on here. So I've got this piece of a wedding dress. I'll put that right there. That piece right there. Now you need to attach these down below your stitching there. Okay, now that you have your paper clip in there, you can attach these all the way to the top. That's going to ensure that your paper clip stays in there too. Okay, and then this piece, and I just drug out some scraps that I had left over from a project that I did. And that's what I have here. Just a bunch of little scraps, but they'll make great clusters and things. And I think we'll put that little piece right on top. Yeah, I like that. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our needle to the back. Oops. Well, you need to put a knot in your needle first. Or not a knot in the needle, a knot in your thread. Be kind of hard to put a knot in your needle. So you're going to come in from the back so that your knot will be on the back. And then you're probably going to poke this because this is going to be kind of thick. And I've got a lot of strings hanging, so I've got to try to get my strings out here. Okay. And then I'm just going through this, the front side, and I'm going in between here where your paper clip is. I don't want to go, over my paper clip, then it wouldn't clip on your page. And then you just, when you go back through, you just make sure that you pick up all of those little pieces. Okay. And you can't even see this thread that it's attached with, so. All right. See, I'm just making sure that I'm picking up at least a little piece of all of those little fabrics there, laces. And if you sell your journals, this is something fantastic to include in the journal because it just gives that person that purchased it another piece of ephemera that they can embellish with more if they want to. Okay. Then just make a knot back here in the back like we showed you, tie it off. And there is another one. And that one is really full. It's got quite a few pieces. And see, if somebody wanted to use, let's say this one, they could just clip that thread and pull that out. Or if they could just trim it off. Like on this, if they wanted to use just one of them, just trim it off. And I think actually on this one, I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to trim that piece off. There we go. I like that better. So that would go inside my journal. And you can trim all the hairs off if you want to. But I'll just show you how it would clip on. Let me find a page. All right, let's say this is a page in my journal. And I wanted it clipped at the top. I would just put that paper clip on there like that, and then just press it over, and there you've got it clipped on. And nobody even knows how it's clipped on there because your paper clip is on the inside of your little tunnel there. Okay, so that's one. Let's make another one. All right, let's start off with, let's see, I have a piece of this. And you can leave all the little frays hanging if you want. It doesn't matter. You can cut them off or leave them hanging. I've also got a piece of this, a little bit wide. I'm going to cut it. And these are just scraps. I put my scraps in a little basket. And when I get quite a few of them, I either make little clusters with them or I do something like this to put in my journal. So this is going to be quite a big one, and that's okay. You can make them any size that you want. All right, the first thing we're going to do is turn our top over to make that little fold, to make our little tunnel, as I call it. And I'll tell you about what size I'm turning over. I am turning over about 3/4 of an inch. That's plenty big enough for these paper clips, which are 2 inches to go in. If you wanted to do bigger paper clips, then you could always use a bigger, you could always fold it over a little bit more. But I think that those will be plenty big enough for me. All right, we're going to go over to the back side and start stitching on this. Now this part doesn't have to be stitched perfect. They're not going to see these stitches. So if you're not really good at stitching, don't worry about it. My stitches are all over the place. I used to could stitch really well years ago, but my hands, I've done so much damage to my hands over the years. They don't stitch so well anymore. Okay. Just stitching up our little tunnel. And I call it a tunnel. It's just a little overlap, but I'm just calling it a tunnel so you'll know what I'm talking about here. Maybe. Okay, we're to the end. So we're going to tie this thread off. We're just going to run it through. When we get our loop, just run our needle through that loop. And then do that again. Run your needle through that loop. And you've got it tied off there. So that doesn't come unraveled. All right, now we can start. And I'm just going to get rid of some of these strings because when I'm stitching the front, sometimes these strings get in my way. Okay, so let's start with some lace. Let's see what we've got. I've got some very, very old lace right here. I don't know what it come off of. It's beautiful. And I hate to even cut it, but this is a scrap piece. I've had cut a lot of flowers out of it and different things, so. And I think I'm just going to leave it like that too. I don't mind that. That'll be pretty. All right, then I have some of this, and it's gathered, but what I do is I cut it off, and I don't really want that purple gather in there. So I just cut that little gather off of there, and then you can use it just as a straight piece, like that. Right, then we have this piece, which is a nice vintage piece, and I'm going to put that one under that one. And we have this little guy. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll just put all of that one on there. We have this piece. This is a scrap that I have. It is pretty wide. And I think I may put it all the way on the bottom. It's the widest piece that we have on here. Like that. Let's see what else we have in our little... I got a little baggie here. I've also got a bag of just scrap pieces of doilies and things here that have been crocheted. So I think I might even include one of those on there. See, there's another little piece of fabric. There's a piece of lace. All right, I think that's going to be thick enough, so let's stitch that on. And again, I'm going to put my paper clip in there first. Sometimes I forget about this, but I always put your paper clip in first if you're going to use a paper clip. And if you're not going to use one in this, then don't worry about it. Okay, get in there, little pocket. Little paper clip. This has got a real fuzzy end to it. I may have to trim that off so I can see where my pocket is. There we go. Wasn't hard at all when I could see. Now. Okay, now make sure that you bring those up. Oops. You know what? This one is so wide, I'm going to grab a larger paper clip. Well, I thought this was larger, but I think it's the same size. That's okay. We'll get it in there. Do this before you put your lace on the front. Let's do that. Let's grab our lace off. It's a whole lot easier. I'm trying to do it backwards. There we go. Now that'll hold. It's going halfway through, so it will hold. See, it's going halfway across, so that's going to hold fine. All right, lay your lace back on. And then just start stitching. And make sure that when you pull your needle through on the back side and you start to put it back through, that you're in the middle of that paper clip. Don't put one over here and one over here, or you won't be able to slide it on your page. Just make sure that you're in the middle. That will also make the paper clip stay in there too. And I'm just kind of making sure that I'm grabbing the little edge of all the laces that I put on there. Okay, then we'll just go to the back side and we're going to tie this off on this end just like we did before. Run your needle through when you get a little loop right there, then run your needle through that little loop and it ties it off. Like I said, you can either trim your strings or leave them on. Doesn't matter. Sometimes I trim them just for a while, and you know, there'll be more that'll pop up there anyway. All right, there's another one. You could put a little row of beads or something across the top. That would be cute if you wanted to give them some bling. Run a little piece of bling across the top of it. But I think they're super cute. They're not hard to make at all, and they clip right in your journals, and they look really good. And it just gives that person a little bit extra when you're selling your journals, a little bit extra for them to play around with. All right, guys, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.